Hey, it's week 24, day 4. Slaves stand firm. So, Nebuchadnezzar, the king, had sent his armies out and he had beaten the Israelites. And they brought them back as slaves to Babylon. Good chunk of them. I want to say what there are about 3 waves of them, if I remember my story right. But they brought them back. And the king's like, you know what? And the best way to get these guys acclimated to our culture is we need to get some of them to join us, and we'll teach them, and then they can be advisors, and they can tell us how best to handle their culture, and then we can bring them all in together, have one big melting pot of cultures where everyone works together. So that's the king, their advisor, hey, yeah, that's a good idea, king. So he goes and he tells us, um, tells Ashpins, Ash, Aspinza, he's like, hey, go get you the wisest, strongest, most handsomest, and brightest of all the captives, and bring them here. So he goes and gets them. The king looks after him. Yep, looks like you chose well. He said, all right, now, here's what you're going to do. And the king addresses them. All right, guys, you will eat of the same meat and drinks and food and everything that I eat of. The king saying this. They got to eat all the king's food. The best food in the land was theirs to eat. And we're going to put you in school, college, for 3 years, learning everything you can about Babylonians, and learning all the stuff that we know, all the sciences, everything. They have a list in here, but I forget what it was. The philosophy, literature. I don't think they study litter. Astronomy, and they're going to learn all this stuff. And they're like, all right, yeah, we'll do that. And then the king says, all right, you can't have Jewish names. You need Hebrew names. So, well, you can't have Jewish names. You need Babylonian names. So they changed their names from Daniel, got changed to Belshazzar. Hananiah became Shadrach. Mishael became Meshach, and Azariah became Abednego. And that's where we got Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. It's actually the Babylonian names. And they come up later. So they're like, all right, they're all happy. We're going to be working for the king. This is the best way to go down as a slave, huh? So they're all happy. And they walk into the banquet hall for the first meal. And they've realized what the king's meat was. Now, remember, the Jews had special rules on what they could eat. Like they can't eat pork as one of the meats they can't eat. The king's got probably hams and turkeys, hams and bacon. Everyone loves bacon. So surely he had bacon out too. And they're like, oh boy. And then they're like, hey, by the way, they ask him, where's the king get all this food from? And then, oh, all the people go and they offer this food up to the gods, and the king eats it. And the 4 guys, they're like, this ain't good. Not only, some of the stuff like the pork we can't eat, but we can't eat food served to idols. That'd be partaking in the worship, and we can't do that. So they said, they said a quick prayer. Don't say it, but I'm sure they did. And then they come up with it. God gave them an ideal, and they went and they hit the guy in charge of them and says, hey, dude, this food is against our custom to eat. And they explained what the custom was and everything, and all the problems. And the guys, You got to eat it. And then Daniel, he's like, I got an idea. He's like, give us a trial period, just 10 days, and just serve us nothing but vegetables and water for 10 days. And the guy's like, dude, you do that, you're going to get weak and look pale, and the king's going to think I'm not taking care of you. He's going to have me taken out back and shot. Or hung, probably. And Daniel's like, just 10 days, trust us. You keep a close eye on us too during that time. And he agreed. And over the course of the next 10 days, they went on a Daniel's fast. But they just ate all the vegetables and drank water. And the guy, he was watching them, and he noticed they're not getting sick. At the end of the 10 days, they really started comparing. They started comparing and realized Daniel and his friends were much healthier and stronger and better looking than the rest of the slaves that were brought in. Because they brought them from all sorts of countries. Babylonians really did a lot of conquering. They conquered the entire known world to the Mediterranean Sea. Every country touching the Mediterranean Sea, I think, was captured by them. And like 200 miles inland. They conquered a huge area. And see, then the king brought them in, and they found out that these guys that stood for God, stood firm for God, not only were they healthy, they were strong, and they were even smarter. God had blessed them with wisdom. And the king gave them the best assignments of all the slaves that were brought in through that college. Those college times. Oh. And they had some good, cushy assignments. And God blessed them because they stood firm for God and honored God. God stood there for them. So, you guys remember that, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.